Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome to an early morning Saturday market watch. Today is Saturday, August 24th. I think this is the last Saturday of August. I might be wrong about that, though. But today we're going to be looking at a bunch of cards and also some budget decks that I think are good to keep an eye out on. I don't have anything to show you guys for locals because I went to locals yesterday and nobody else showed up, so that was fun. But I did get something from the OTS store, and that is the new set of pins. So I have the old set right here. So this one has Tour Guide, Ash Blossom, Bell, AFD, Baron, and Prosby. And the new one has Rescue Rabbit, Blue Eyes Alternative, what was that? Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, Trishula, IP, and Access Code Talker. So that's pretty cool. Nice to get your hands on those. And today we're going to be looking at a lot of cards, but none of the cards on the pins. Maybe we should, who knows. But yeah, starting off, let's go ahead and do, as always, the best selling from the last week. So we've got Fiendsmith Engraver. It's back up to 100. I think it was 95 last week. So it's probably going to hold 100 until the ban list comes, which is hopefully it's coming this week, but nobody knows. Prelia is still holding around 50. LZ is 30. SP is up to 65. I believe it got down to 55 not too long ago. Stellar's 23. Dominus Purge actually climbed up this week. It got up to 15. It's coming back down to 13. I think that's about where it should stay. It's a good card. It is essentially just a hand trap, but it locks you out of half the cards in the game, and some good ones at that. So not the best. Mimical Dungeon went up this week, I believe, because the new Mimical support was revealed, if not this week, then early last week. So Mimical Dungeon went up to 10, or I think it went up to 15. It's down to 10 now. So it is doing okay. If you guys bought Mimigools early, I mean, congratulations. So Phantom U Bell is holding 35 to 40. Low actually spiked up. It was 20 last week. It bumped up to 25 to 30. So if you guys listened to me and picked up your lows, congratulations. Good on you. Nightmare Throne's only 25. Imseti's 20 to 25. Ankh is 5 to 6. I believe these are all where they were last week. Silhouette's still 10. It's up to 11-ish, so whatever. Thrust is 30. I don't know who's buying Thrust right now. It is, I think, guaranteed to be in the tins. There's no reason to pick up the secrets, or there's no reason to pick them up unless you exactly want the secrets. And look at this. The ultra rares are the same price, so if you're going to pick up Thrust now, like you're going to a big event, or you just want them to have them, you want Thrust, like pick up the OGs. There's no reason to pick up the ultras for the same price. Unstoppable Exodia Incarnate is at 5. I don't remember where it was at, but I mean, that seems fine as an ultra. I think you do have to play 3 of this in the Exodia deck, but it's really not that good. Diabell Star is 20. Tract is down to 8 again. Chaos Angel is still holding at 30 for the OG secret, surprising considering it was confirmed as a tin secret this week. So again, I would consider offloading this. Also, I will pull it up after this, but we saw that Utopic Draco Future also got confirmed. Bonfires 25, Pydras are 10, Nightmare Apprentice is 25. I think this is down from like 30, but I don't think we covered this last week. Again, the other Thrust is 30. Bone Party still holding at 20. I think a lot of people think this deck is going to be pretty good post banlist, which I could see. So if you like Memento, maybe consider picking this up now, because I'm not sure it'll hold out at a $20 price tag. Let's go and quickly look up Utopic Draco Future, because Draco Future, I want to pull up everything, including the QCR. So QCR is 25. Both the Ultra and Secret Rare are, let's pull it up here. Yeah, they're 5 to 7 for the Secret, and the Ultra is same price. So these did come down a little bit after the confirmed printing. So, I mean, if you sold them when I told you to, I mean, go ahead, like pat yourself on the back. But yeah, I mean, it's not too surprising. This is kind of like the boss monster of XEs right now. It used to be Zeus, then it was this, now it's Typhon. But yeah, pretty good. I want to take a look at Battles of Legend Terminal Revenge. I think this set is still pretty good, all things considered. I mean, obviously Phantom Youth Bells at 40, Lara at 15 is the second best secret rare. Lancia at 10 is kind of surprising. Ice Barriers were really popular for about 2 weeks and then it fell off majorly, so I'm surprised that this is at 10, and I'm surprised Mirror Mage is at 3 to 4, so big surprising. Substitute is down to 5 to 6, so if you guys want to play Frogs in Edison, I mean, you can pick up your substitutes. That's kind of cool. Lotus King Flame Crime, I think this was like 15, but then Rev's Cards made a video calling this card like trash. Well, not trash, but just not ideal, and it dropped down a lot. Curry Card, Dipping Card, it's 5. I could see this being in the tins, but I could also see it not being in the tins, so maybe you want to consider picking this up. I'm very surprised that Grand Wignall is at 5. I would expect this card to not hold its value, especially if something like Albion, the Sanctifier Dragon, gets hit, so I wouldn't hold out hope that this is going to stay alive, that this price is going to stay alive for too long, so if you have a bunch of them, maybe consider offloading them. Sprite Starter at 4, this seems about right considering this is the highest rarity printing. Archfeed's Advent, I don't even know what this card does. We talked about Mirror Master. Sprite Blue being 3, I mean, I think you can pick up the Sprite deck for pretty cheap now. I believe Gigantic Sprite was in this set, and if it's not on the front page, it means it's less than $1, so you can probably pick up a Sprite deck for pretty cheap, so I would recommend it. I mean, it's just a deck that like persists. Anytime there's a good level 2 monster at all, people always like, oh, is Sprite playable now? I mean, that's what happened with Mirror Mage, so I mean, we'll see. Infernoid Evil, I'm so glad that this deck did fuck all after the Snake Eyes support came out, or after it came out, people just realized, let's just play Snake Eyes pure. There's no point to playing Infernoid Snake Eyes. Blaze, Supreme Dragon of all, or Supreme Ruler of all dragons. I played this in Tenpai for a very short amount of time. There's a funny tech you could do, but now that we have Genroku, there's no point to playing it. Jasmine's at 2, Oil's at 2 to 3. We covered Diviner last week. Again, I do think this is worth picking up a play setup just to have. Ray and Agerine's only about $2. Brain Infusion's $1.50. Shining Star Dragon, I could honestly see people picking this up and holding it. There's probably going to be some random, synchro deck that pops eventually that plays this. And that's about it. Now we'll get on to individual cards. The first thing I want to cover is the Bystials. Bystial Lubellion is only 10 apiece. This is the lowest I've ever seen Lubellion, I believe, so go ahead and pick these up, honestly. There's almost no decks that... there's never going to be a time in which Bystials aren't good. The only time is if, like, every deck in the format is not light or dark. And even then, like, Bystials are still good into themselves. Like, Bystials are going to see play in things like Malice, because you can just... If like, you summon your Malice card, it gets impermed, right? You link it off for Linger Evo, you Bystial banish your own Malice card, and then it triggers to summon itself back. So I would pick these up. Lubellions are only 10, which is pretty good. Druid Swarms are still 10 to 15. Dispatter is holding 15 to 20, but this will get reprinted pretty shortly in the tins, so I wouldn't worry about that. Magnamuts you don't really need to worry about, because, I mean, you can pick up a playset of this. I will say that's not a bad idea, because if this does come back, this shoots up to like $20 or $30 easy. Sorinier's at a higher price just for branded decks, but yeah, Bystials are really good. I would pick mine up now if I didn't have mine already, but if you don't have them, I would definitely suggest at least picking up Lubellions. You really only need one of each of the other ones. Like, most decks are playing, like, if they're playing Bystials in main, they're playing 2 to 3 Lubellion, the 1 Regained, and then 1 apiece of Druid Swarm, Baldrake, and Magnamut. I want to look at Totally Awesome. This is a card that just does not exist in a cheap printing. I mean, there were times when the MAGA printings were like 50 cents, and people were just kind of like, I don't want to say throwing them away, but people were confused as to why you're picking them up now that they're so cheap. And yeah, $12 for the OG Secrets, $8 for the 10 Secrets, and then $5 for the Ultra Rare from Mama, and the Rare from Maximum Gold was still $4. I believe this is getting to a higher price because of the Mermail decks. I believe they can, if they can't hard make this, then they definitely go Bahamut into Toad. So yeah, people are picking up one of these. If you have these, I mean, they go down and they shoot right back up after like a couple of whiles. I mean, Mama was only released like a year or two ago. I'm surprised it's already this expensive, but I guess it was kind of hard to get your hands on for a while. But yeah, so if you have toads, maybe consider offloading them, especially these lower rarity printings here, because you know everybody likes the secrets. Secret toad is always cool. I want to look at Red Rose Dragon. This is a card that I'm still baffled by. This card is limited. This card is still limited. If this card is sent to the graveyard as Synchro Teal, special summon a Rose Dragon monster for your hand or deck, except itself. If it was sent to the grave for a Black Rose Synchro monster, you can add a Frozen Rose or Blooming of Darkest Rose from your deck to your hand. This card, the fact that this card is still limited is baffling to me. It is locked behind such a weird deck because there's not an easy way to get it out. I mean, I know there's Basil Rose Shoot, but most people were playing like 3 of this, 1 Rocks Rose, 1 Basil Rose Shoot, and this got limited because of Adventure Prank Kids format. So I would recommend picking up a playset of these. There's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't. I mean, look, 50 cents for the rare, $1 to $2 for the ultra rares. Yeah, I have absolutely no idea why you wouldn't pick up a playset of these. The second these come off the list, they shoot up because people are going to think they're super playable. They're going to realize it's not playable, and then they're going to drop back down. But for that brief like 2-day window, you'll be able to offload like an ultra rare Red Rose for like 8 to 9. I want to take a look at Assault Synchron. This card is only about $2 to $3 a copy. Battle's Legend Monstrous Revenge is definitely not guaranteed to be in the tins. Oops, let's go back. This is definitely not guaranteed to be in the tins. It could be in Quarter Century Bonanza. That's kind of like very unlikely. But yeah, this card was like very hyped up, did almost nothing. And yeah, I don't know why it didn't do anything at all, but it didn't. So I would recommend picking up a playset just because if there is a deck that does play this and does really like it, then I mean it's going to go up. I want to take a look at Neo Tempest Terahertz. So it was $2 about a week ago when I covered it. It shot up to 8 to 9, and now it's coming back down to 7 to 8. This is for the Malice deck that I think is pretty good. I'm going to hope to play that, assuming it's not too high rarity and too expensive. But yeah, this is a card that you will need for the Malice deck. This is like the end board, essentially, is just Firewall Dragon, Dark Fluid, Neo Tempest Terahertz. Such a long name. Yeah, really cool card. If you have some, maybe consider offloading them at the price spike. They're probably going to keep going down for a bit, but yeah. Pilgrim Reaper. This is a card that I wanted to cover for Tearlaments. Now, I will be the first person to tell you I think Tearlaments is cope. I think it's always cope. I don't think there's a single time that Tearlaments isn't cope. However, detach a material. Each player sends the top 5 cards from their deck to the graveyard. Yeah, this is just Chaos Ruler. It's a rank 6. So if Tearlaments, when Beatrice gets banned, Tearlaments is going to pivot to playing this. This card was about 25 cents a while ago, spiked up to about $1, is back down to about 50 cents. Tearlaments is going to play this. This is going to get bought out. I would recommend, at the very minimum, if you want to play Tearlaments, or if you have Tearlaments cards, pick up a copy of this. You're going to need it. If you don't want to play Tearlaments like me, I would recommend picking up several copies of this. That way you can offload them to copers who are going to play Tearlaments. My boy Will talked to me about Emergency Teleport. He wanted me to cover it. So the OG ulti from Duelist Genesis is about $15 for a light play on Limb. And let's see what the near mints are. Okay, near mints are a little bit more expensive. Yeah, near mints are going to be closer to 30. 30, 33, something like that. But yeah, you can pick up a light play for about $10 to $15. And I wanted to look at the whole of the E-Telly. So the only deck that's really playing this right now is exactly Ritual Beast, because they do have main deck Psychics. But this is a card that will always see play as long as there's a Psychic deck like running around. Not a lot of people are playing Ritual Beast because it's a very hard deck to play. But looking at it, like I said, OG ultis are 10 to 15 for the light plays, 30 for the near mints. QCRs are 10. CRs from Grand Creators are about 5 or 6, so that's actually a pretty solid deal if you ask me. And you can even get secrets from Rarity Collection 2 for about $1. So yeah, I would recommend getting some high rarity E-Tellies. I mean, they're not too expensive. It's probably not going to get hit again. I feel like people are a little bit afraid because this card was off and on from limited to banned to limited to, yeah, it was everywhere. Actually, I don't think this card was ever banned, but it was on the limited list for so long that a lot of people were afraid of it coming off, and now it's done almost nothing for so many decks. I'd recommend picking up some high rated copies. Then I want to talk about some budget decks. So the first deck I want to talk about is Prank Kids. So I'm not covering this because it's a budget deck. I think I'm covering this because Prank Kids Meow Meow Moo, it was on the trending here. There it is, yeah, Prank Kids. And I think it's because people think Meow was going to come off. Now, I won't say Meow won't come off, but I really don't want to see this deck again, so I don't want it to come off. But that being said, if Meow comes off, people are going to want to play Prank Kids, and people are going to want to pick up, like, you know, Secret Rare Battle Butlers, Secret Rare Rocket Rides, and Roar and Roasters. You're going to want people picking up the super rares, the highest rarity printing. So if you were interested in Prank Kids, if you do like the concept of Prank Kids, but you just haven't picked it up because Meow is banned, I'd say now is about the right time to pick it up. Like I said, I don't want it to come back at all, but I could see it coming back. So, you know, maybe pick up a high rarity core for yourself. It looks like it's only going to be 2. So this is going to be 6, like 50 cents for each of these. So that's like $6 again for all the, you know, main deck names. And yeah, you could probably pick up a full high rarity Prank Kids core for, you know, maybe you know, $20, and you could pick up a low rarity core for even less. I mean, looking at this, like, we've got the rares from El Dorado or pennies, the rare, like, yeah, you could pick up a low rarity Prank Kids core for almost nothing. So if you do want to play Prank Kids, pick it up. If you don't, I mean, maybe pick it up just so you have cards to sell to people, because it's always fun to do that. I want to look at Punk. So this is a deck that, I mean, it also is an E-Telly deck, so hey, if you're picking up E-Tellys, you might as well pick up Punks. But Punks are a deck that's always just a solid engine for anything that wants to make a rank 8 or a Synchro 8 or a Synchro 11, and it's pretty cheap. Like, looking at this, like, Foxy Tunes are $2, Deer Notes are 25 cents, Ogre Dances are 50 cents, Ziamins are 10 cents, maybe. Yeah, so this entire deck is pretty cheap. I would, again, I'm just recommending you pick it up. These are budget decks. These are only going to cost you about $20 to $30 to pick up, and it's not a bad idea to have. I want to cover Traptrix really quick. This is a budget deck if you want to play it pure. If you want to play the Ragnarok build, it's less budget, but the reason I want to cover this is I think cards like Sarah, Mermelio, Dionea, and maybe even something like Mantis are probably going to be in the tins or quarter century Bonanza. I can definitely see Mermelio and Sarah being in the tins as like QCRs, but more than likely these are all going to be in quarter century Bonanza. So I would recommend offloading the higher rarity cards now, especially if you're not playing it like most people, because Secret Rare Sarahs are about 5 to 10. Mermelios from Astral Pack 6 are $10. Yeah, there's really no reason to hold on to these unless you're playing them, and most people aren't. I think the only cards that are worth holding on to are these extra high rarity cards. So Ulti Rafflesia, Ulti Traptrix Trapple Nightmare, Starlight Alamaris. I think these are the only ones worth holding on to. I want to cover Mikanko. Again, this is a deck that I do think is cope. I really don't think this deck is very good. That being said, it always pops up as just kind of like a rogue deck. This is, to me, this is like the true Draco of 2024. It's like back in like 2020 and 2021 when I was playing, True Draco wasn't very good because they didn't have Masterpiece anymore, and like Dynamite was at 1, and so many cards were limited. But it was just a deck that just killed you unless you were playing meta. If you're playing meta, you beat that deck into the sun. If you're playing rogue, it just gate blocked you from the higher tables. So that's kind of where I see this deck. Water Arabesque is only about 5, and then Manifested is only about 8. The rest of the deck is beyond cheap. I mean, pennies. Like, look at this. Really, the only thing that you have to worry about is Water Arabesque and Ohime. And if you have these, I mean, looking at this, like 15, 21, so that's going to be about $40, and the rest of this deck is nothing. So you can really pick up this deck for about $50, and I think you'll be fine. I want to go over Vanquish Soul. This is a deck that I don't think is cope. I think this deck just needs a very good pilot. And looking at it, I mean, Rosin is 7 to 8, Caesar's 2, Borger's 5, Mad Love is 3, all pretty cheap. I don't think these are going to get reprinted in the tins. They could be, but I don't think they will be. Rock of the Vanquisher is another card we have to talk about when we talk about this set. The ultra rare from Wild Survivors is only 2, but the ultimate rare from Tournament Pack 24 is only $6. If you're going to pick up this deck, I would just say pick up Ulti Rocks. I would pick up Ulti Rocks just to begin with, honestly, though, because like, assuming this gets any amount of like good support, the ulti is gonna go like terminal. It might not go super high. It might go up to 20, but yeah, it's gonna go up. So pick them up now. And then the last card we gotta talk about is obviously Stake Your Soul. It's only about $8, so this is a 3 of. So let's see, 24 there. Only $2 if you want to pick up this, but I'd recommend that. So $6, so that's 30. Another 50. Yeah, you're looking at about $60 to $70 for this deck, so it's not as budget, but it is the lowest it's been for a while. Let's see if we can see how much Rosin was. Yeah, Rosin was 18, just under 20 for a while this time last year. So yeah, I would recommend picking it up. I think there's no harm in picking it up if you have the money and you like the deck. It's a deck that's always going to be around. I think this is kind of like, this is like the modern day version of Sky Strikers, in my opinion. It's like it really is. It's just it's not a deck you want to see very often, but it's there. Also, just want to mention, like, Wild Survivors is super cheap, $40 for a box. I mean, it's not bad, especially if you pull like a CR Rosin or a CR Burger. That's pretty funny. There's also like other super cheap decks in this set. I mean, the entire Dinosaur Core is in here, and it's pennies. Yeah, so that's pretty funny. But that is it for today, guys. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, tell me what to cover in the next Market Watch. It really helps me out. And if you really enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe. It really does make me feel good. I hit 400 subscribers this past week, so that's pretty cool. So hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.